This is Numbers chapter 35, verse 33. So that ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
See that? So he has to come back and cleanse the enemy, cleanse the capture, cleanse the murder, cleanse his land, right?
You know what? Of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken into shivers, even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches.
They better listen. They better listen, man. The nations are going to be put under our feet. Give me Isaiah 49:23.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 23. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and queens their nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth.
Who they going to bow down to? Us. Go ahead.
And lift up the dust of thy feet, and that thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
Right, so that's going to happen. That ain't happened yet. The nations ain't bowed down to those people who call themselves Jewish today. They're not bowing down to them. They got enemies over there trying to bow them off the face of the earth. Iran and Iraq and all these different countries. North Korea. Go to Isaiah 60 and 14. This is my last verse on this destructive part.
What was that last verse?
Isaiah 49:23.
60 and 14, right?
60 and 14.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee.
Wait a minute, read that again.
The sons.
The sons. Remember he said they're going to drink of that cup? This is the sons of the fathers that did ill will to us. He said the sons. Go back. Read that again.
Verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. All they that have despised thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel.
That's right.
Yes, Isaiah
60 and 14.
Now what you were saying, just meditate on that, right? Just think about it. The Most High said this is going to happen. But a lot of people don't believe that these people are going to bow down to us, the brothers that you, the everyday brothers just going to work, how we're treated as a people. The Most High said they're going to bow down to us. You got to meditate on that because it's going to happen, man. You know what I mean? So if you're in the mindset thinking like, well, we're all the same people, but the Bible says they're going to bow down to His people, and they're going to lick the dust of your feet. You know what I mean? You got to really think about that.
They're going to physically do it, and they're going to serve us.
Right.
That's another form of licking. Like right now, we're basically licking Esau's feet.
Basically. No,
Basically.
he is.
Yeah.
And the other point to what he just said is those ones that they go equal and ain't talking about them. That's the 2/3 that's going to perish. He talk about that 1/3 that are keeping the commandments.
Right.
Those are the ones that they're going to be licking the dust from our feet. And I feel like I was
glad you clarified that.
Because all of Israel.
All of Israel. I mean, look at half. Look at 2/3 of Israel today, right now. I mean, the ones that you know, that you done gave this truth to, that rejects it every day. They ain't trying to hear this. So it's all in the mind right now, and what we think is going to happen, because the scriptures is telling us. That's where we got our thoughts from. We got it from the scriptures. It tells us this is what's going to happen. It says, like a dream, when you awaken, you shall hate the image.
So, what did you, like the Christians think that's talking about?
They don't read, huh?
They don't go into the Old
They don't
Testament.
read the Old Testament. They get sleepy when they hit those verses. You know what I mean?
Jesus changed all that.
That's why I had to pull out one in Revelation to show you that Christ has never changed. Listen, you cannot read the New Testament without knowing the Old Testament. If you don't know the Old Testament, you won't know what's going on in the New Testament. Okay?
These are Revelation 20:26.
Okay, so we read that. Let's go to Psalms 118, verse 10.
Psalms chapter 118, verse 10. All nations compass me about, but in the name of the Lord will I destroy them.
Right, so the Most High is telling us in that day he's going to destroy all the nations that compassed around us. Come on.
They compass me about. Yea, they compass me about. But in the name of the Lord I will destroy them.
He's going to destroy them. Come on.
They compass me about like bees. They are quenched as fire, as the fire of thorns.
Come on.
For in the name of the Lord I will destroy them. Thou hast thrust sore at me, that I might fall, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and my song, and has become my salvation.
He become our salvation. Come on.
The voice of rejoicing and salvation is in the tabernacles of the righteous. The right hand of the Lord doeth valiantly.
Valiantly. Come on.
The right hand of the Lord is exalted. The right hand of the Lord doeth violently. Violently.
Valiant means to be superb. Go ahead.
I shall not die, but live, and declare the works of the Lord.
So this is what we have to do in the hands of the captive. All these things here. Declare the works of the Most High, and know that the Most High is going to redeem us like this brother says. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. It's going to happen. We just got to wait. That's why he says, here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that believe in the testimony of Christ and keep the commandments. It's patience, man. We know what's going on around us. The technology is crazy right now. We know about the chip, all that stuff. They're setting up. They're getting everything in order, getting everything ready for all this stuff to pass. Right? There's nowhere you can go where they can't see you. We already know that. This is all prophesied in the scriptures. Everything. I wanted to show that. Give me the slave trade book. Every nation you see that's around us today, all had us in captivity. The Japanese, the Chinese, the East Indians, all of these participated in us. We were the gold of the world. Like they were rushing to do this, what's that, the internet, .com, or what are they putting in these phones? These little chips and all that. How they all run to put their stocks and everything in that. We were the stock back then. Everything went through us. All right. Slavery, page 3, 4th paragraph, the 2nd book. So the 2nd book is in the back. Because the first, there's 2 books in there.
What's the name of that book?
It's called Slavery. What's the topic? What's the author name?
By Milton Meltzer.
Okay. Milton Meltzer. Yeah, say it at the top. So go to page 3. All right, read the 4th paragraph.
On the east coast of the Portuguese found a flourishing slave trade in the hands of the Arabs.
So the Arabs had us in captivity. We all know that, right? For how long did they have us in captivity?
1,200 years.
Almost close to 1,200 years.
That's before Esau even came along. Right?
Yep. Esau wouldn't know where to be around. But the Arabs, which is Ishmael, always had a hand in our captivity. Always. With Joseph, when he got taken to Egypt, guess who was the middleman? The Ishmaelites, the Arabs. They had a hand in transporting him. Come on.
Who had come early to this shore of Africa and had entered by 300 BC. Ivory, gold, iron, and slaves were the products of products traded by East Africa.
Okay, come on.
The Chinese and the Malays,
like the Malaysians, come on,
were important traders at times, but the Arabs came early and never left.
So it's talking about the Arabs, but it's also saying the Chinese, they can't get away from this. You know, they probably said, y'all ain't got nothing on us being putting y'all in slavery, but they in the books too. See, Esau leaves all these footnotes. Who helped him? The Chinese helped me, the Arabs helped me, the Malaysians helped him. They can't get out of it. Don't you know they talk bad about us? The Chinese, when they get around, they ain't gonna tell you in your face. They nice about that when they get, even Filipinos, when they get in your face, they cool. When they get away from you, they talking bad about you. Can't stand you. All right?
In the 15th century, the slave trade extended all through Eastern Africa. Swahili agents handled it for Arabs, who shipped the blacks to Arabia, Persia, and India in their own dhows.
All right, so you can start right there. So we all got placed in different parts of the world. It said that Israel will be scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. And we were. Give me Zephaniah. Let's prove that. Zephaniah chapter 2. See, the first thing people do when they hear the truth is they get upset. Their stomachs, their minds, it's all new. So they have to transition. Then once they hear it, they're like, wait a minute, let me do my research. They find out, start doing their research, like, man, what they were saying was true. It's all in the history books. How come they ain't teaching us? That's what happened with me. I didn't believe it when I first heard it, but the more I kept reading, the more I kept talking to a brother about the books I was reading. He was like, well, read this book. Read this one. Read this one. The more I started saying, dang, man, this stuff is true. How come they ain't teaching us this? All right, go ahead. Zephaniah 2. Start at 9.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 9. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab.
Who was Moab?
Chinese.
The Chinese. Go ahead.
Surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon.
Who was Ammon?
Japanese.
Japanese. Come on.
As Gomorrah.
So what was Sodom and Gomorrah after the Most High got through with it?
Boom.
Stubble. So that's what's going to happen to both of them. So you think the Chinese are going to take over? A lot of like, oh, the Chinese, they got all this stuff. They dropping the trade and exports and imports with America. All right. Here's the bombshell. Let y'all know. They're claiming that August 16th is supposed to be the day that China cuts loose America from their trades. They ain't talking about it. But it's supposed to be August 16th. So a lot of these manufacturers are trying to jump on the bandwagon to buy certain metals because they're trying to figure out how they're going to make their cars. All right? China's going to make their own cars. Well, they was already doing it, but now they're cutting America off completely. Like the batteries at, what's the name of this company that make the electric cars?
Tesla.
Tesla. So those batteries that they use a certain type of metal. Well, it's a bunch of types of metals. But certain metals that they're going to use, China's trying to buy it all up. So investors are trying to figure out which metal is China going to buy. Once we find out, everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon and try to purchase that metal. That's supposed to happen on August 16th.
Lithium.
We'll see. Nobody knows. It's a secret. So, just to throw that out there. All right, go ahead.
Even the bleeding of needles, and salt pits, and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them.
We're going to spoil them too. Come on.
And the remnant of my people shall possess them.
Right, so this is the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi we're going over, but all the tribes are going to spoil these people. Remember, the Indians got sent over to the European nations to work as slaves. Okay? So we read that, right? Let's go to, I'm going to stay on track. Go to Deuteronomy 28:58. Deuteronomy 28:58. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 58. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book.
That are written in this book that we're holding. Come on.
That thou mayest fear the glorious and the fearful name, the Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful.
Will make them what?
Will make thy plagues wonderful.
Wonderful. Cancer. Tumors. Right? Diabetes. All these different things that we have today. Allergies. It's going to make the plagues wonderful. We all suffer with that stuff here in America. Come on.
And the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and the long continuance.
Long continuance. How long Magic Johnson been having HIV? They say he's healed, but how long he's been having AIDS?
Since 91.
Since 91. Long continuance. Bill Cosby, everybody say, Bill Cosby gonna die. Bill Cosby ain't dying. He's gonna go through the long continuance of plagues. He gonna live, he gonna watch. He gonna live a long time.
One, drug addiction.
Drug addiction.
Yeah.
That's right. Long continuance. Come on.
And sore sickness, and of long continuance.
Most I said it twice. Of long continuance. People have diabetes for years. Right? High blood pressure for years. And to the seed. The doctor said, well, did your mama have high blood pressure? Your daddy have high blood pressure? To your seeds. See? Come on.
Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt.
All the diseases of Egypt. Come on.
Which thou was afraid of.
Because we didn't get it in Egypt. The Egyptians got it. He says, which you was afraid of. Come on.
and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law,
Wow.
them will the Lord bring upon thee.
Ebola. Where was that in the scriptures? That wasn't in the scriptures. He says herpes. AIDS, right.
Black plague.
Things that are not even written in this book. I mean, everything is written here. But he said disease is going to be out of the box. It's crazy. Come on.
Until thou be destroyed.
All right, so what I want to do now is I want to show you, brothers and sisters, that Esau recorded this. Everything that he's done to us has been recorded, even when it comes to the plagues. Go to the black man in slavery and freedom in the colonial of Brazil, because none of us really talk about Brazil. The largest concentration of Negroes that got transported from Africa went to Brazil. That's right. It was a shorter trip from the Congo to Gold Coast right over to Brazil. It was quicker.
And then they were supposedly in South America trained, and in America, North America, bought slaves from Brazil. And in the Caribbean islands, when they were, there's another word they used, but training was the crux of it. And then the trained slaves were then transported up the east coast of America.
Okay, yeah.
And so by the time you were sent up here, your teeth were all in good shape, you were of sound body, and you were able to work.
It was like a training ground.
That's
Yeah.
going to tie into Willie Lynch.
Willie Lynch,
what he's saying right now definitely ties into Willie Lynch.
Right.
Because he was telling them that his slaves, like the Virginia and Florida, they was complaining, you know, they slaves wasn't in condition. He said, well, y'all indoctrinate what I'm about to tell y'all. Because he was in the West Indies. His slaves, they was in order. Like he said, from Brazil up, they was training them how to be. So by the time they come to the States, they was
with one exception.
Page 117.
Haiti.
Oh yeah, they couldn't control him.
Haiti broke away.
Them brothers over there, them Levites was over
And they
there.
are punishing Haiti to this very day.
Absolutely. Absolutely, they are.
To this very day.
A lot of the men in Haiti are being shipped down to Brazil right now to work in the mines right now. And so they're giving them a free trip. If you want to make some money, be housed, room and board, they send you to Brazil.
Yeah.
And so the women are being left behind.
Really?
Yeah. Read this. Let's read about the plagues in this book.
The Black Man in Slavery and Freedom in Colonial Brazil by A.J.R. Russell Wood.
So read everything highlighted. 117, 118, and 119.
Page 117.
Listen to this closely. Check this out. Look how they treated us, man. Come on.
Slaves working in such conditions were highly susceptible to sun poisoning.
Sun poisoning. What is sun poisoning?
Too much.
That's not in the Bible. Come on.
With vomiting and fever chills, followed by acute dysentery and kidney diseases.
Y'all gonna be like, this doggone devil put us through. Because see, what it is we get complacent and we forget what he did to us. We forget.
You want to join with him.
Yeah, we want to assimilate. We want to assimilate. Even though today we say, okay, I got to get a job, he ain't so bad. You know, he clowning with us. He ain't that bad. You know what I mean? But when you read about his forefathers, remember what the scripture says, that his sons are going to tend to us. You got to remember that. Come on.
Pleurisy and pneumonia took longer.
These are diseases you can't even pronounce.
I never heard of that.
That's what the scripture says. Things you ain't never heard of in the scripts. Come on.
Take longer to develop. Intermittent fevers and malaria were commonplace. In part, the product of panning in the areas of stagnant water diverted from main streams to the riverbeds dried out after floods.
Because they was panning for what? Gold. All right? So you got to understand, we're going to do something, because these slaves that they got to pan for gold knew something about gold. Okay? They ain't just get any, like the brother was asking earlier, how did you know the difference? They just didn't get anybody from West Africa. These brothers were skilled at what? Gold, silver, things like that. Okay? Come on.
Page 118. Accidents and deaths caused by fall lands and pulmonary infections resulted from working long hours underground. Inadequately ventilated tunnels were hazard faced by slaves working in subterranean galleries. Safety regulations of 1726 and 1728 were totally ineffectual.
Ineffectual. What safety regulations?
They had none.
They ain't had no safety regulations. Come on.
Just working conditions, physical deterioration was rapid.
Rampant. Come on.
And the incidence of slavery, mortality high. Estimates to a slave's useful working life and gold mining varied. In 1744, the councilors of Villa do Carmo placed it at 10 years.
10 years was a max that we would live in slavery. 10 years. Come on.
10 years earlier, acting governor Martino de Medonca.
You know what this reminds me of when he says, and you will see no ease. In Deuteronomy 28, he says, you will see no ease all the day long. You won't know your end from your beginning. You don't know when you're going to stop doing this. Come on. That's the curses.
Oh, that should tell slavery. You ain't going to stop doing it.
You ain't going to stop doing it until they will work you to death.
Death.
Right.
And then when the children you have will get worked to death.
To death.
And their children to death.
Right.
And this went on for how long?
It's still going on.
Hundreds of years.
Well,
thousands, really.
What you're telling us now is that it's still going on right now.
And it ain't stopped.
Right.
Still going on. The education system. That's another one. It's all mental now. Come on.
Stated that miners expected 12 years work from their slaves.
They expected 12 years. They treat them like football players. How long football players expect to see to play football? 10, 12 years. Yeah, if they make it.
Running back to 5 years.
Yeah, average 3. And they get paid. They get paid handsomely to do that. Yeah, it's about 3.
You said what? 3 years?
3 years.
That's the average.
You ain't talking about the all-stars.
Yeah. That's right. 3.
Ready for yellow?
Yeah, go ahead.
CTE, all that.
By law, slaves were granted Sundays and holy days for the cultivation of their own plots.
Wait a minute, Sundays are not the Sabbath days. Friday, Sunday, and Saturday is the Sabbath day. This was the slave master's Sabbath days. He rested on Sundays. Come on.
But there is ample evidence that masters insisted that their slaves work in potterage or the cultivation of small holdings on such
they
days.
Still worked on Sundays. They're supposed to get off, they had to work on that day. They worked 7 days. And you talking about being nice to Esau.
Sun up to sundown.
Sun up to sundown.
Masters cut costs by failing to provide adequate sustenance for slaves, or by providing rotten food. Making sickness was caused by the sale of rotten pork to slaves.
Wait a minute, that's another law being broken. Sabbath day's been broken.
Rotten pork.
Then they're giving you rotten pork, which is a law in the scriptures not to eat. Come on.
To slaves after whites had refused to buy it.
Wait a minute. Y'all know what rotten pork looks like? Y'all know what grows on rotten pork? Worms, maggots. We eating pork with maggots in it. Our forefathers would eat it, but look, we end up eating it anyway because we had nothing else to eat.
They taught us to cook it extra long. Always make sure to cook pork good.
Go ahead,
Masters resorted to 2 expedients intended to cut costs of food and to provide the slave with at least the illusion, if not the reality, of greater resistance to hardship. These were tobacco and brandy.
They gave us drugs after that, tobacco and brandy to keep us sane, right? To keep us going. You brothers that smoke all the time don't really need to eat. You know what I mean? Or drinking all the time. Brothers, I know alcoholics, they don't need to eat nothing. They just drink the alcohol.
And what they want now is just a blunt in the bottle. Huh?
That's it. Where do you think that came from? It didn't come from us. Read the rest of the highlighted version.
The latter was a common complaint in the mining regions and was attributable in part to heavy consumption of pork, which in turn raised the uric acid level.
So we have some deadly combinations that they was giving us on top of working in that extreme environment.
Yeah.
Crazy. Those are part of Deuteronomy 28:56, what we just read. So what I want to show you now is the age, because it said the life expectancy is 10 years, right? Go to page 134 in the same book. I want this brother to show the picture. 134. What book was that? Oh, not that one. Go to slavery. Look at slavery. Right here. Go to the second book and go to 134. I want to show y'all the age. Most of the slaves that, that's it, you just passed it, right? Yeah, right there. All right, show them this real quick. So this is an older brother that probably was working in the house, all right, that made it.
I was about to say, I know he ain't 17.
All right, so he was probably your house Negro, right? A butler, right? Read what's up under Samuel Jackson from Django, right? Read that real quick.
The daguerreotype of Caesar, a New York slave. The state slaves were freed by as of July 4th, 1827.
Y'all ever watch Planet of the Apes? Y'all know what the monkey name was? Caesar. Where do you think they got that from?
Caesar. All right. If I take this off, you cannot leave my sight. I'll never find you again. Okay. What's this? What's he doing?
I don't believe that.
What?
He's asking your permission. It's a supplicating gesture. It's okay.
Come on, Caesar. Off you go!
Look at him go! Caesar! Caesar! Caesar!
Caesar enjoyed his freedom until his death in 1852.
All right, read the other one up here. Read all of them.
A slave market in New York, where auctions of blacks were held almost daily. One market was in the middle of Wall Street near Waiter Street.
Read that.
Colonial New York newspapers advertised fresh cargoes of slaves. Profited in the trade were high. Profits in the trade were high, 100%. And the cities...
100%. You was rich if you invested in that stock. Rich. Come on.
And the city's most honored families took part in it.
Honored families. All these rich folks today, their sons are still rich. Behind this.
Yep.
Read this right here.
For sale, a likely, healthy, young Negro wench between 15 and 16 years old.
That was the age that we ended up being on the slave ships. They didn't get nobody who was older than that.
Right.
Everybody was young, so they could beat hell into them, make them do what they wanted to do. Keep going.
She has been to farming buffooniffs. Sold for want of employ. Inquire at number 81 William Street, New York, March 30, 17.
Most I'm probably going to burn that up quick when we come back. Go to page 126. See, they tell on themselves, Aki. 126. Read this one. Show it to them first. What does it say on the top? They made this a law. So I want you to read that.
A law for regulating Negroes and slaves in the nighttime.
So what did they do with Christ? When did they judge Christ? At night. There was nobody like, some of the Pharisees wasn't even there when it went down. Christ was judged at night. They made this law for at night. So this law is for curfews. Right? Read just a little bit.
Be it ordained by the mayor, recorder, alderman.
So the L's are S's.
Asterman and advocats of the city of New York convened in common council, as it is hereby ordained by the authority of the fame, that from henceforth no Negro, mulatto, or Indian slave above the age...
No Negro, mulatto, or Indian slave Those three, come on.
above the age of 14 years do perform to be or appear in any of the streets of this city on the south side of Freehand Waiter
So they're just getting tired of Negroes running around
in the nighttime.
at nighttime. So they came up with this law. And best believe if they caught them, they was going to severely scold them.
Right.
All right, you can stop reading for the sake of time. So everything was stripped from us, right? Our Sabbath days, our dietary laws, our moral laws, everything that we were supposed to uphold in the scripts that we was trying to keep in Africa got stripped away from us. Everything. So basically, we didn't have any choice but to believe in one. Christ. That's basically what the Most High made us do. He said the blood be on our seed, on us and our seeds. So the Most High forced them to whip us for breaking His laws and forgetting the Son. All right? You gotta look at it that way. So let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and 15. This is in reverse.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 15. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee.
See that? So you thought I was playing when I said that He's going to put all the stuff that He put on us back on them. Everything that they did to us, all those diseases are going to go right back on them. We're going to be the saviors in those days. Like the book of Obadiah said, all the Israelites are going to be the saviors. Like right now, when you get sick, where do you run to? The doctor. You look at them as saviors. Can you give me some medicine? You know, I'm not feeling good. You tell the doctor your symptoms. They're your savior. We're going to be the saviors in that day. All right? We're going to know the right herbs, the medicines, everything to feed our people and the heathens. All right? That's going to be the difference. Everything's going to switch. Go to Amos 3 and 2. This is a psychological Willie Lynch problem that we've been having for eons, man. We can't get out of this stupor. You know? Amos 3 and 2. Read that.
Amos chapter 3 verse 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
That's it. Who's you only? The Israelites. Read.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Right, so He punished us. That's why all you see is Indian and Negroes getting punished. All other nations are still benefiting. Every nation. Everybody. Who's buying up all these houses over here in West Oakland?
Yeah.
Everybody but us. We losing. Right. All right, let's go to Babylon and Timbuktu. We're going to get through this. Babylon and Timbuktu, page 90. So we want to talk about, like I said, we're going to find out who those slaves were that knew about the gold and stuff like that. We're going to read about it now. Read that. Yeah, start right there.
From Babylon and Timbuktu, page 90. The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. They carried their culture, history, laws, and written records with them. This assured them a constant precedent for development or of higher social organization. Because of the stability of the black Jewish culture, the Jews were not absorbed into the autochthonous population. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes. The Jews made use of every opportunity. They were an industrious and skillful people. In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found kings, princes, governors, generals, secretaries, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreters, mathematicians, jewelers, sculptors, masons, carpenters, painters of art, goldsmiths, leatherworkers, potters, armorers, saddlers, blacksmiths, agriculturists, etc.
Okay, so did you brothers hear goldsmiths? Did you brothers hear blacksmiths? Okay, so we're going to find out where those people came from. Jewelers, right? So they were experts in these fields.
Well, we already know that blacks taught the whites how to do
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
We were the ones who trained them. We the ones who had the first universities, had the first schools where teaching, well actually, Europeans were still living up in
They didn't
caves
know nothing.
and were savages. While we were fully
already systematic.
Oh, exactly. In West Africa,
Right.
whereas the word university comes from West African this is something that I learned before, how West Africa was the beginning of the words university. The Moors, Phoenicians had all that already mapped out, and the Europeans learned that from us.
Yes. Yeah, they learned everything. Yeah, that was University of Timbuktu.
And to build toilets.
Hello? Yeah,
That's right, that's right. Gold wasn't
that's only pure cleanliness.
Right.
That's key. I just want to say because one of the most famous disease places of all time was the bubonic plague that happened in what was called the Dark Ages in Europe.
Yeah, in Europe.
They was so ignorant that they thought that that song Ring Around the Posies and all that, they didn't know that at a microscopic level because they was defecating in the streets and pissing in the streets.
Not washing their hands.
Not washing their hands. They didn't understand.
We had to teach them how to live.
Disease.
Right. They were living with their chickens and their dogs.
Oh, yeah.
That's where you get chicken pox from and all that stuff. That's where it comes from.
Now that you mentioned the Dark Ages.
The same quarters as the animals.
Why it had to be the Dark Ages?
Hey, wait.